Hey y'all, it's your Queen Pimp Sun Kids coming through right quick, right fast with a little shout on the show. Nah, little disclaimer right quick, right fast because this is literally like fresh off the dome, fresh from me watching Snowfall. I have yet to watch the second episode premiere of the new and final season. So this is coming from just the first episode because I fell asleep on the second episode. I was trying so hard to stay up, but I was so sleepy. Oh my gosh. But I wanted so bad to stay up and watch it, but I fell asleep. So, anywho, let me go ahead and say what I got to say. So, watching Snowfall in general, there is like some popcorn commentary, like it pops up here and there. It's not something that's very frequent throughout the show that is actively said, but it's definitely touched on because it's something major. And it's also, I've been seeing the question asked a lot more in real life also. And that question is, when did, let's say, the street entrepreneur life start disregarding the life of women and children? When did women and children become targets when at one point in the street entrepreneurial lifestyle of it all, women and children were off limits? So, trying to remember correctly, but it's between season 5 or season 4. I feel like it was season 4 because season 4 was like super explosive, but that's when Leon accidentally, negligently offed Scully's daughter. And then Scully's baby mama got all involved and was raging out. And she popped Louis. And eventually, Jerome popped her. If I'm not mistaken. Boy, and they got Fatback. Oh my gosh, Fatback. Oh. Shout out, rest in peace, long live Fatback. Oh, post some out for Fatback. Oh. Ah. But yeah, child. Yeah. Jerome popped the baby mama. Dang, that's wild. Jerome. OG Jerome. Jerome has literally been the main one out here dropping the girls off. Child, but we're going to talk about this. So, I've been feeling like, with that being said, the premiere episode, and since it's still early, I don't want to, it's probably an inevitable spoil, but I'm going to try to speak kind of in code about it. But Jerome been dropping off the girls, child. So, I feel like the premiere episode kind of got to the rooter and the tutor in a way of the answer to that question. When did the women become targets? And with that being said, I feel like the answer or the question has been slowly being answered as Louis has been coming into more power. Not only with Louis' gradual uprise, but also with the implementation of characters, and in real life, the implementation and emergence of women becoming more involved in the game. therefore gaining more power and more trust, more value, more, what's that, likability even, if you will, in the game. Because also, if we think about it as the show is concerned, y'all, I see a lot of misogyny in the discussion groups and in the comments of the show when it comes to the female characters who have power, trust, or likability, not only in the game of the world of the show, but also the characters of the show. So, for instance, Louis's character gets a lot of hate. And to be honest, she didn't start getting all that hate until she started gaining more power and more likability. Like I said, not only in the game of the world of the show, but also as a character on the show. And how do I know and say with confidence that it's rooted in misogyny and misogynoir? Because, for one, when Louis was in more of a subservient right-hand man type of role, bottom B type of role, there were a lot of people, men in particular, that favored her, lusted after her, loved her, longed after her, always talking about how beautiful she is, how cold she is. Not to mention, Louis and Franklin have a lot of parallels about their characteristics. They have a lot in common. And I'll do a separate video talking about their parallels because I'll be here all day. But all of those facts, being quiet as it's kept and loud as it is, points directly into the direction that there's a lot of misogynoir roots, misogyny roots. And that's kind of inevitable given the subject matter of the entire show, right? And given the subject matter of the game, the structure of society and all that it mimics, you know what I'm saying? And that can be a separate video on its own as well. But I'm saying all that to say that from my perspective, the answer I feel like we've gotten is that women became targets. Women in particular became targets when they started gaining more power, authority, likability in the game that was dominated and still in many ways is dominated by men. Now, as the show specifically is concerned, there are some double-edged swords and debatabilities of it all. Okay. So, bear with me right quick, right fast. Let's pivot into it. Let's talk about Jerome real quick in the situation that he's been put in. So, he dropped off baby mama, Scully baby mama. Cannot think of her name. If I could think of her name, child, I promise I would say it. Because I don't like to just be referring to women as, oh, such and such wife, such and such girlfriend, his baby mama. But yeah, Scully baby mama got dropped off by Jerome. And in this case, in Jerome's case, him dropping off the girls ain't had nothing to do with him being pig-headed, toxic masculine, a misogynist, or nothing like that. That's not Jerome. And we've had many instances that show that that's not a part of Jerome's character. That ain't his heart. Even when he popped baby mama, He felt reluctance in doing it. And he felt remorse in the process and immediately after. But he did it because he literally had to. The position that he was in, he had to do that shit. Because she was raging. She was out of control. She popped this girl. And we can't have you out here popping Louis. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey, no jam. And she was like out of it. Now granted, the position she was in, tisk. And we ain't even gonna get into all of, well, if you wasn't a part of the drug game, you wouldn't have to do. Duh. Okay, we know that. But they in it now. They too deep to turn back. You gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah. She's in a situation. Her baby got bammed. That's hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? So can't blame her for how she reacted and all of the things that she did. It's just she became a danger to herself and the world. And child, she had to go. And low-key, high-key, I hate to quote him, but in the words of Blueface, she popped the wrong, you know what I'm saying? And she had to get dropped off. And let's fast forward to what happened on the premiere episode. So, excuse the cat. Shout out to Bianca Yvonne. That's her name. Shout out to her. She had a little something to say. Okay. Now. But fast forward to the premiere episode, season 6. Louis at risk, child. Y'all know Franklin done ran down on the folks. Done snatched up the bag and the bricks. Put them boys in a desperate situation. He in a desperate situation himself, of course. Run around here being a scoundrel. And y'all know last season your boy Saint pulled the hammer out on Louis. And Louis had been holding it close to the chest. She had been biting her tongue about it. She ain't said nothing. But after she seen how tender Jerome kept trying to handle Franklin, because you know that's his nephew, you know, that's his prodigy, you know, his protege, his mentee, that's his boy, like a son to him. They family, they blood. It's his sister's boy. Trying to handle him with love. Not realizing that ain't no love in the heart of the city. Franklin got an icebox where his heart used to be. All the memories, this is crazy. He ain't nothing like the Saint we used to know. No more good, baby. No more good. And so in order to make that clear, Louis had to go ahead and let Jerome know, yo, your boy pulled the hammer out on your wife. Not just your girl no more, your wife. But not only that, his aunt, who he grew up, you know what I'm saying, having a bond with, who been there for him, took part in raising him. He pulled a gun on her over money and ego. And you have, like, a lot of people, specifically the pig-headed folks, that be like, oh, Louis did this. She moved like that. She a snake. Da-da-da-da-da. Bull crap. Business is business. And that's one of the main things that Franklin say out of his mouth. It ain't personal. It's just business. He wanted Louis to remain in a subservient role. Because low-key, high-key, Franklin is pig-headed. And you see that even more this season and how he's handling his own girl. Okay? And child, we'll talk about that in another one. But it's a bunch of pig-headed misogyny. Don't want women in authority and power ass shit. Because if it was like that, why ain't Franklin go after Leon with that energy? Why ain't Franklin go rob Leon? Oh, she got the plug. What choice did you leave her? You keep trying to cut her off at the knees at every angle. But all the men around you want to evolve. And as long as they don't cross your boundaries or pull no heinous shit on you specifically, though with Leon, it can definitely be debatable. But you got guilt and all this and that. Well, you should have guilt when it comes to Louis as well. So, like I said, with all that said, it's a bunch of pig-headed foolishness when it comes to people and Franklin being, you know what I'm saying, trying to move the goalpost on Louis and demonize Louis for elevating herself and going after and doing what she had already said that she was gonna do. And that's a Franklin parallel right there. Her and Franklin started this shit together. Jerome ain't even want no parts of it. It was Louis and Franklin. Louis made the move. Louis made the connect. Louis took literal hits. Louis got her ass beat so that Franklin could get a fucking leg and a head in the game. Like, if it was not for Louis, Franklin would have nothing that he was able to gain. Like, what you mean? Neither one of them would have been able to progress without the other. So what do you mean? Why is Louis supposed to not be the queen pin that she is? Craziness. But yeah, so right there, Louis is the head. And like I said, we're not blaming Louis. We're blaming misogyny. Because Louis emerging is low-key, high-key, what has caused a lot of the current chaos and what has caused Louis to become a target. A major target by mainly Franklin. By mainly Franklin. And Franklin, low-key, high-key, has been an agent of chaos in many of these situations where people are getting dropped off. Because Leon had beef and all of that with Scully and him, low-key, high-key, because of Franklin. That's how baby mama and the baby ended up at the wrong place and time. And Leon ended up dropping off the baby. And baby mama raged out and got dropped off. Raged out, targeted Louis, and got dropped off. So, all of that leading up to Jerome gotta now make a point and make a statement on behalf of his lady. Because if you ain't noticed, Louis, as some would say, wears the pants in this situation. And that don't make Jerome no punk at all. But Louis is the queen in the situation. Louis called the shots in that dynamic. So, I ain't gonna sweat you. Louis was putting the battery in Jerome's back to handle that. Not only was she trying to protect him with the truth by letting him know, look, this is what you dealing with. This ain't your little nephew from back in the day. You gonna have to handle him like off the street. You know what I'm talking about? But she was also putting a battery in his back, knowing that he was gonna rage out on her behalf. Knowing that the way to get him to really bring the beast out him for real, and send a message to the streets about who she is, what it is, and what it's gonna be, she had to let him know. Like, she had to push his button. And his button, his soft spot, is her. Tisk. So I ain't gonna lie, it's a little dark feminine energy up in there too. But What you expect? What you expect? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorn. Don't play with her. Play with your bitch, okay? So play with her heart, but don't play with your wee wee, okay? But so stressing that also to say that Jerome running down on the bang 'em up, shoot 'em up twins ain't have nothing to do with misogyny. That aspect ain't have nothing to do with like no toxic masculine, nothing, no like being jealous of women or nothing like nothing or none of that. That was about him protecting his, as Karen Hugo would say, protecting his institution. That was about him protecting his girl. That was about him protecting his marriage, protecting his home, if you will. Protecting his family, the one that's truly out here ride or die for him. So he run down on them, gotta send a message, gotta take that money they just made from the product that was stolen from him and Louis. And in the process, child, he went too far. Overkill. Now, it's debatable because the way the game is, the mission was accomplished. He sent the message. Like, they know that the gloves is off at this point. They know that it's war at this point. Because that's Black Diamond. You know what I'm saying? Not only is she a favorite character in the world of the show, she's a favorite character to the audience. So we know that shit is about to go ham for that fam. Child tisk. But at the same time, I wonder what that's going to do to Jerome polar heart over time. You know what I'm talking about? Because Jerome real life got a heart. And like I said, Jerome is really not. And he's from that old school. He's from that time where women and children was off limits. So he out here going against basically how he was raised, going against how he was conditioned, how he was brought up, what he was taught, what was put into him. Child. And I want to, it's for the sake of his love. But I guess we also gonna see, if it's more than what meets the eye on it. Like, is it really gonna turn out to be worth it to him? I also say all that to say and bring all of that to the surface to say that while Jerome's intent and motive behind the gals that he dropped off ain't have nothing to do with misogyny or jealousy of women or nothing like that. Him being an OG, those that look up to him, follow him, have studied his experience in life and in the game. They watching him. They gonna mimic what he do. So that may not have been his motivation. But it goes back to that message. They sent the message that they was trying to send, but I feel like we finna see exactly how they sent even more messages that they ain't even think about, that they ain't even think that they were sending, which is that women and children are no longer off limits. Which is that these bitches, as they would say, I'm not calling women bitches, but that's, that's the misogynistic mindset, you know what I'm saying? So, as they would say, these bitches can get it too. You want to ride like a man, you will die like a man. You know what I'm saying? So, child, we gonna see. We gonna see, honey. We gonna see. But that was just real interesting to me. I'm finna go watch the second episode. And I'm gonna be doing reviews and commentary and stuff on the show, definitely. I'm just trying to see if I want to start with the final season or the first season, because I already know though that after the final season is over, I'm gonna want to go back and watch to like connect dots and shit. So I might just do my shouts on the show like this here for the 6th season, and then after the fact I'll start with the first season doing actual reviews. So that may be how I do it. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, I have milked this cow dry. And I am thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.